Okay, Mr. Allen, we're now live and you can start the meeting.
All right, so I'll call the meeting to order at 10:03. I just want to read part of the first point, just a quick acknowledgement. We begin this gathering by acknowledging and celebrating these traditional lands as a gathering place of the first peoples and their ancestors who are entrusted to care for Mother Earth since time immemorial. We do so respecting both the land and the indigenous people who continue to walk with us through this world. Today, the county is committed to working with indigenous peoples and all residents to pursue a united path of reconciliation. Let's move on to the second point, adoption of the agenda for today, November the 7th. Can I get a motion for that?
I can do that, Neil.
Pat and Pat and Bill.
Yep.
And all in favor? All right. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? I don't believe there is. Okay, point 4, adoption of the minutes. The minutes from August 1st be adopted. Can I get a motion for that? Nikki? And a second?
I can second it, Neil.
Okay, Bill, and all in favor? All right, deputations and or presentations. We don't have any today. Point 6, reports to the Accessibility Advisory Committee in consideration for the Accessibility Award. Did you want to speak to that then, Janet? Or Jeanette, sorry.
Sorry, this was the one nomination that we received, and Ms. McDonald provided this nomination. I'm not sure if she wanted to speak to the Blue Moose family.
I can't access that document while I'm looking at the big PDF file, Jeanette. So if anybody wants it read, perhaps you could read it. Everything that I wanted to say, I included.
And just give me 1 minute, I can pull it up. If I can just read a little bit about the description, it was just the property was built in 1895 with little or no consideration for accessibility. In 1923, when it was operated as the Woodman House, the owners promised the proprietors will spare no pains to make it comfortable and home-like, but accessibility again was not included. So finally, in 2022, the Blue Moose received an enabling accessibility fund, which allowed the dream of a full wheel-in wet room or bathroom to become a reality. Blue Moose brought long-awaited accessibility hospitality to the village of Marysville, making it a beautiful historic property, comfortable and home-like for a wider group of visitors.
Yeah, I was on their Facebook
page. That was the work that they had done for that property. So it's now accessible for those with mobility aids.
Yeah, I saw the accessible washroom they had highlighted online. It looked pretty good, yeah.
Yes, and I should note that prior to getting the funding from the county, they were using their own funds to make a lot of minor adjustments, which were outlined in that document. They bought the business and they made a commitment to themselves and to the community that they would make it accessible. It's one of the few businesses on the island that's accessible.
Well, hopefully there'll be more to follow. All right, so can I get a motion then to accept that nomination then? All right, Nikki?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor then? All right, super. We'll just go on to part B. Jeanette, did you want to speak to the part B of 6?
For sure. So this really is just an information report for the committee. So if the committee will recall, back in 2022, we were required to update our multi-year accessibility plan. So some of the committee met on numerous occasions in 2022 to review how it might solicit public feedback. And if you will recall, we did put a project on the County of Frontenac's Engage Frontenac site. So this is a communication tool that the county uses. It's two-way communication now that allows the public to participate, provide comments, and interact with the county. So it's a little bit different than social media. So back in July, the AAC met and they talked about this, and so they came up with what we wanted to see on that site, including a survey. If you'll recall, Matt Mills, our communications officer, also attended that meeting back in July to explain to the committee a little bit about how we do public advertisement, how we promote our sites, and how we promote our projects that we're doing. So he explained a little bit about how the multi-year accessibility plan was being promoted, and he noted this Engage Frontenac site. There was a number of documents put up there as well, which are noted in the report. So everything is there in the report, but basically the project closed in December when the multi-year plan was approved by both the committee and council. So this is just giving you a little bit of an overview of the type of traction that the project received on our Engage Frontenac site. Again, 2022 was only the second, and it was actually the first full year that the Engage Frontenac site was up and running. It started back in 2021, partway through the year. So since the site's only been up there a year, it may seem that we didn't get a lot of traction for this project, but I'm actually quite pleased considering that the Engage Frontenac site is a new site, a new tool that we're using. And as you can see there, there's a couple of pictorials, but some of the key highlights there, which I have noted, is that there was a total of 148 people who visited that Engage Frontenac site. And per day, we had a maximum of 14 visitors per day on that site. There were 4 engaged visitors and 32 informed visitors. So engaged visitors are the ones who actually participated in what was up there, whether that being taking the survey or contributing ideas to how we could better make our communities accessible. And there was a total of 24 aware participants. So these will be people who were aware of the site and went and popped onto it. In terms of traffic, you can see there as well, 85% went directly to our Engage Frontenac site. 1 went through email, so we send out email communications as well. 22 found it actually through a search engine, which means they must have gone into Google or Yahoo or whichever search engine that they use and Googled accessibility in Frontenac and found our site that way. And 26 went to that site through our social media channels. And then there was 13 referrals. So as you can see there in the report, there was 1 survey there, and on that survey, there were 2 visitors who contributed to the survey. There were 2 news feeds, and there was 1 idea with 2 visitors. So there was 1 spot there where people could contribute ideas, and there were 2 visitors who contributed ideas to the plan as well. And again, all of these were incorporated into our multi-year accessibility plan that we came up with the townships as well. Quite interesting there was a number of documents up on the site that people could download. So our previous plan, our 2018, 2020, 22 plan, 8 people visited that page and there were 12 downloads for that as well. 1 person downloaded our integrated accessibility standards regulation. 1 person downloaded our customer service How May I Help You guide, and 1 person downloaded our 2019 accessibility plan status review. our annual review. So that's it was really just an information report that I wanted to share with the committee so that you could each see the type of traction that we actually received on that site. So again, whenever we're doing things in the future, we're able to use this site to promote our projects that we have on the go. And really, it is a great way to solicit that public feedback that we're so desperately looking for. I think that was everything, Neil, that I had to.
Yeah, it does seem like for the period of time that it was up, that it got some good traffic. Okay, well, we'll move on to 7. I don't believe that there's any updates from the townships at this time. Nor any communications or other business. Do we have a time that we would like to set for the next meeting?
I can certainly work with the committee to send out dates. We typically meet quarterly, so our next meeting typically would fall in January-ish. And I can certainly send out an email or a doodle poll to the committee to see what works best for everyone.
Okay, now would that be a Zoom call again, or would that be at the township?
I believe that the committee had opted to go with 2 meetings via Zoom and 2 meetings via in person, and to keep the bad weather meeting dates through Zoom, and then perhaps when early spring or late spring and late summer fall, then we can meet in person, depending on, again, the committee's schedule. I know a lot of people work through the day, so it's a little bit easier to book off half an hour to an hour to attend a Zoom meeting. Whereas when you're meeting in person, it really is, depending on your commute time, it can take a little bit longer.
I like the not having to deal with weather part too.
And we do also have the hybrid option as well. So if we do opt to have an in-person meeting when the nicer weather comes, making it a little bit easier for people to get around, there is the option as well that those who can attend in person do so, and those who are not able to attend in person to simply to Zoom in.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that I'll adjourn the meeting if there's nothing else then.
So you just need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So could I get a motion for that, please? All right, Nikki. And another motion, or another. And Pat. Okay, and all in favor? All right, so that adjourns the meeting then. Thank you everybody for coming, and that concludes today.
All right,
you.
thanks everyone. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.